Assalamu alaikum students, welcome to SM Public Academy Campus 5 and I hope you all are staying home, staying safe, following the necessary precautions. Make sure you don't forget that we are hence still not done with the COVID-19 and we need to take care of ourselves still, okay? So I welcome you all 8th graders to our English literature class today, and as you all know, I'm your course instructor Miss Sabarif, okay? So I hope that you people are understanding so far all the lectures that I have delivered with you people and we have had together. And if there is any question, any query, as I always tell you, kindly make sure you ask me in the Google comment box, or you can ask me in the chat room here as well. I always give you time. So if there is anything regarding the literature lessons, any question, any word meaning, anything that is unclear during the lesson, you can always ask me in the end regarding that particular topic, and I'll be more than welcome to answer you. Okay, so let's begin our lesson. Okay, you remember we were doing Hamlet by William Shakespeare. This is the second play that we have started. The first one was Merchant of Venice, and this is the second one, Hamlet. So I will be giving you a quick synopsis or a quick review of what we last read, because definitely some of you might have forgotten, some of you might were not there last time, and definitely because this is a new play, we have just done the first part of it. So I'll give you a quick review of the lesson, and then we'll further start reading it and we'll do the explanation. So I want you all to remain focused while I discuss the small details with you, because sometimes everything is not written on the screen, or everything is not written there, but sometimes we are actually discussing and we memorize things like this during discussions. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's have a quick review. So, do you all remember the first thing, that is who was Hamlet? The main person, the whole story is related to the central character Hamlet. So, if you all remember, who was Hamlet? There was a King Hamlet and there was a Prince Hamlet. First of all, you need to make sure you can differentiate or distinguish between the two characters. King Hamlet was the person who died, and Prince Hamlet is the person who the story revolves around. Okay, so let's see who was Hamlet. Hamlet was the Prince of Denmark. His father is dead. He was very unhappy. His mother has married the king's brother, Claudius. So he was the Prince of Denmark who was studying abroad. He was going for his higher educations there, and all of a sudden he gets the news that his father has died suddenly. His father, King Hamlet, has died suddenly, and he comes back. And not only that, he witnesses his father's sudden death, but also within 2 months, his mother marries Claudius, the king's brother, and he is very unhappy about it. Okay, so Hamlet is actually an unhappy character in the story. Claudius. Now, who was Claudius? Claudius was the new king of Denmark. Okay, and what is important about him is that he was the dead king's brother who has taken the throne and married his sister-in-law. He was a foolish, ugly man, and Hamlet did not like him. So basically, what we know about Claudius from the beginning is that although he's the new king of Denmark, but definitely he does not have a liking, in the by the other characters, and definitely Hamlet does not like him at all, because Hamlet sees that he is nothing like his father. His father was a kind, generous, loving king who was very caring, who was respectful and everything. But this person here, Claudius, is actually nothing like the dead king. He's not at all like his brother, or he does not even have the skills to be a king. He's a foolish and ugly man. And Hamlet has two reasons to hate him. First of all, definitely this person is not up to the caliber. He is cunning, he's clever, he's wicked. And also because he is now the stepfather to Hamlet, and Hamlet does not accept him as a stepfather. Hamlet is not happy with him for this reason as well. Okay, so what we know about Claudius is that he is now the new king of Denmark, and he is definitely Hamlet's stepfather, and he is the brother of King Hamlet. Okay, now who was Gertrude? Make sure you write the spelling correctly. This is a little difficult one. Gertrude, Gertrude. Gertrude. Gertrude was the queen of Denmark. She was Prince Hamlet's mother, King Hamlet's widow, and King Claudius's wife. Hamlet was upset that how could his mother forget his father so quickly and marry another man. So basically, what we know about Gertrude was that she was the king before, and she is still the king. So queen, sorry, she was the queen before. And during the lifetime of King Hamlet, she was his wife, and now she was King Claudius's wife. So she's still the queen, and she's Prince Hamlet's mother. But Prince Hamlet is not at all happy with her. He is actually very upset with this decision that has been made by his mother of marrying Claudius, and he is not ready to accept this decision. And not only that, he isn't ready to accept this decision, he's actually very much angry, and he has developed a pessimist attitude and negative attitude towards women after his mother's marriage, because he cannot accept that how his mother can forget his father within 2 months of his death and get married to another man. I mean, he starts believing that do all women do this? Do all women forget their beloved ones so quickly and they get married to another people and start a new beginning? And he cannot accept this reality. Every day he goes through this pain, goes through this sorrow that his mother has married another man within 2 months of his father's death, and he is not at all happy with his mother for doing this. So these are the three central characters that we have in the play. And what is the story so far? Let's see. Hamlet refused to stop wearing black clothes in the memory of his dead father. So this was actually why Gertrude and Claudius were very upset with Hamlet, because he was not moving on. He was not ready to accept the fact that death is but a reality. And you remember they were telling him that, okay, come over, come, like move forward and just to get done with the past, forget about the past, stop wearing black clothes, start leading a normal life, live like the other people of your age, accept that reality that everybody dies. And if your father is dead, then every father, as you remember, Claudius told him that, if, since history, sons have lost their fathers and mothers and everybody, and you have to accept the fact, stop acting like a baby, and you are no more a baby. You should understand these things, that definitely everybody dies, everybody moves on, and I will love you, you will be the next king. But Hamlet refuses, you know on all these things, and he keeps wearing black clothes, and his black clothes actually remind Gertrude and Claudius every time of King Hamlet's death, and they don't want to remember it for different reasons. And whenever they see him wearing all head to toe in black, they are very unhappy about it. Okay. And his despair made him unhappy with everyone and everything. He believed no one could be trusted, therefore he wanted to die. So basically, Hamlet was so upset, he was so lonely after the death of his father, that he could not accept the world the way it was. He believed that everybody was fake, everybody was lying, nobody could be trusted, and that everything was actually very materialistic. Nothing was the way it looked, it seemed to be. And there was a point where he was so much disgusted, where he was so much annoyed with the things around him, with the people around him, that he actually wanted to die. And he believed that there was no other way out except death. But definitely committing a suicide, or killing yourself, isn't that easy. So he used to talk to himself in silence, in a loneliness, that what should I do, how will I survive, how will I face this reality that everybody around me is actually fake, nobody is true, not even my own mother. So he was very much upset with all of these things, and he was a very unhappy prince actually. His only friend was Horatio. I told you this thing, that Horatio was his school friend who has been studying with him, and now he was one of the noblemen, and he used to be with the Hamlet, but still Horatio could not cheer up the cheer up the prince. Horatio told Hamlet about a ghost which looked like the dead king. So this was actually where the story took a little turning point, and when all of a sudden Horatio walks in and tells Hamlet that, okay, he and the castle guards have actually witnessed a ghost in the night, and the ghost seems to be of his dead father, and he is actually worried why the ghost is making an appearance. And so Hamlet was certain that something was terribly wrong, and that's why he decided to meet the ghost. And as soon as Hamlet discovers about the truth that okay, people have these men have seen the ghost, he was sure that something is wrong. Definitely, the ghost must have come up to tell something very important, to share some details, or maybe to to tell Hamlet something that needs to be told to him, and he doesn't know it, and so he decides to meet the ghost. So this is till where we read last time, and now we'll move forward and we'll continue reading and the explanation. And so far, I hope the lesson or the beginning or the introduction of the chapter is clear to you, everyone, that why was the prince unhappy, what were the reasons behind his unhappiness, and what were the attitudes of other characters. Okay, so students, I want you all to open up to page number 52. I'm giving you a minute. Open up your readers on page number 52, and we will continue reading from here. So hurry up, open up your readers. I'm giving you a minute. Okay, so I hope all of you have opened up your readers. So let's continue reading Hamlet by William Shakespeare. Okay, the ghost secret. Now the ghost will definitely tell a secret to Hamlet. That evening, Hamlet, Horatio, and one of the soldiers met at midnight to watch for the ghost. The night was cold, dark, cold, and quiet. In the distance, they could hear the sound of music and laughter. The king and queen were enjoying a feast. Suddenly, Horatio touched Hamlet on his arm. So, actually, what is the scenario? What is the screenplay? Or what is the surrounding when Hamlet decides to meet the ghost? That he first of all he's accompanied by Horatio and one of his guard soldiers or one of his guards, and three of them, they meet at a point where the ghost has made his last appearance, and they wait there for the ghost. And in the distance, they can hear the king and the queen, and the king and queen are partying themselves. They are enjoying a feast. A feast is actually a big dinner. A big dinner in the sense that it has a lot of dishes and it's a very lavish kind of a dinner. So the king and the queen were enjoying themselves. They were partying, they were dancing, they were laughing. There was music everywhere, and Hamlet could hear them at a distance. But he was actually looking forward to see the ghost. Okay, and the environment was so that it was dark, it was cold and quiet. That means there was no sunlight, and everything appeared to be very dark and still and quiet. Okay, "Look, my lord," he whispered. "Look, it is coming." The ghost had appeared again. So Horatio, he comes forward, and he tells Hamlet that, "Look, my lord, there is the ghost. He has made an appearance again, and look over there." And definitely, Hamlet, when he looks at the ghost, now let's see what he sees. Hamlet knew at once that it was his father's ghost. He was both frightened and curious. So, as soon as Hamlet saw the ghost, he was 100% sure that definitely it resembled his dead father, and he was very much sure that it is the ghost of his father. So, Horatio was right that the ghost was his father's, and it was King Hamlet's ghost who was appearing again and again. "Why have you left your grave? What does this mean? What should we do? Oh, answer me!" he cried. So, Hamlet has so many questions for the ghost. He just, starts talking that he was both, first of all, he was frightened. He was frightened means he was scared that why has the ghost come? And he was curious because he has so many questions in his mind that why, he's asking the ghost, "Why have you left the grave? Why are you appearing again and again? What you want to tell us? What does this mean?" And, he's just one by one he's asking a series of questions to the ghost that, Why are you coming back to us? What is the reason of your appearance?" But the ghost did not answer. Instead, it silently signaled to Hamlet to follow it. Horatio was afraid and begged Hamlet not to go. So what happens that the ghost did not say anything in front of Horatio and the guard, but it actually signaled Hamlet to come with him, and he definitely wants to talk privately or secretly to Hamlet, and he wants to tell something to Hamlet that he does not want other people to know. So it signaled Hamlet that, okay, come with me. And Horatio was a little bit, suspicious, or he was a little bit scared why the ghost is actually wanting Hamlet to go alone, and he tries to stop, he begs Hamlet that don't go, but definitely Hamlet has come to meet the ghost, so he will not stop, and he will definitely go and see his father, because definitely it's his father's ghost. But Hamlet fiercely pushed his friend away. Fiercely means angrily, okay, and not angrily that he is, angry with him, but actually because he wants to meet the ghost, so he just pushes him away and he says, okay, let me go and just see what the ghost wants to tell me. Nothing would stop the prince from following the ghost, even if it had led him to hell itself. He disappeared from Horatio's sight into the black night. So what happened? The ghost did not move just a little bit away, but actually it took Hamlet to a very further distant away, and definitely to a place where Horatio or the other soldier could not see him. And Hamlet was so much looking forward to know why his father's ghost had appeared that Shakespeare writes it in this way, that even if it would have carried him to hell, or even if it would have taken him to hell, Hamlet would have accompanied the ghost, would have gone along with him. He was so much willing to know why the ghost has appeared. He wanted to know the reason for the ghost's appearance. Okay. When Hamlet and the ghost were alone, the ghost turned to him and spoke. What he said filled the young man with horror. He told him that he was the dead king's ghost, and that he had been cruelly murdered. Hamlet, he continued, they said a snake bit me in the garden, but the snake that killed me now rules my kingdom. So, what is the ghost secret, or what is the first thing that the ghost tells Hamlet is that, okay, I'm your father, I'm the dead king's ghost, definitely. And then he tells that, okay, what is important, or what I need to tell you is that I did not die out of a snake bite. This is what the people were told, or this is what was actually widespread after my death. Everybody was told that, oh, the snake is the king was bit by a snake while he was sleeping in the garden, and he got poisoned because of the snake bite and he died. But actually, he says that the snake who bit me now is ruling my kingdom. So who is this person? Who is the king talking about? Who is the king referring to? He is referring to his brother Claudius. Exactly, he's referring to his brother Claudius, that the snake who bit me, the person who actually poisoned me, or who murdered me, or who brutally and very cruelly and very disgustingly killed me, was nobody other than my own brother, and he is the snake who bit me, and now he's ruling my kingdom. So definitely, why did Claudius king kill king? Because he wanted to be the king himself. He wanted the throne, so he killed his own brother. My uncle, Hamlet asked eagerly. The look of terrible sorrow on the ghost's face told him that he had guessed correctly. I knew it, the prince exclaimed. Claudius had murdered his own brother. He had wanted both the king and to marry Gertrude. While the old king was sleeping in the garden one day, Claudius had crept up and poured poison in his ears. It was a horrible death. So basically, now the ghost is telling the secret that Hamlet, first of all, he is not only shocked to know that Claudius was the person who had killed the king, because he actually had an assumption. He was actually suspicious about Claudius, and he says, see, I knew it. I knew something was wrong behind this sudden death, because when he got the news of his father's death, he was this is the reason for his shock, that he knew his father wasn't ill, his father was a healthy man, then how could he die all of a sudden like this? And how could a snake bite him and all of this? So he was actually pretty confused since that time. He was suspicious since the death, and now when he discovers the truth that, okay, the main person behind his father's death was his own uncle Claudius, so he tells the ghost that I knew it. I was sure that definitely something was wrong, and there was somebody who must have murdered you. And then what else does the king tell him? That it's not only this much, that it was a snake bite, but actually the reason for Claudius killing me was, number one, he wanted the throne, and number two, he wanted to marry Gertrude. So he had two reasons of killing me. The ghost said that Claudius committed my murder so horribly, so terribly, because he wanted to be the new king of Denmark, and because he wanted to marry your mother. And He also tells him that okay, and how did he kill me was that it was not that he just killed me like that, but actually while I was sleeping in the garden, he quietly came over, he crept quietly, he came quietly, and while I was sleeping he poured a poison into my ears, and definitely it was a very painful, a very horrible, a very sorrowful death for me. So the ghost is now telling actually his death secret to Hamlet, that is his son, that see son, this is how I was killed, how I was murdered by my own brother Claudius. And now, son, your dear father is unable to get to heaven. I died before I could pray for forgiveness, and now I must burn. I command you, if you are my son, you must get revenge for this terrible murder. Help me to find peace. But, the ghost added, do not harm your dear mother. You must leave her to be punished by her conscience and by heaven. Then the ghost vanished. So, first of all, the ghost tells the secret of his death to his son, and then secondly, now he's giving a command. He wants Hamlet to do something for him because he could not rest in peace. He could not find peace in his grave because in Christianity, they believe that they should ask for forgiveness before their death. And because it was a sudden death for him, he died while he was sleeping, so he couldn't pray for forgiveness. And uh, now he says that, because I couldn't pray for my forgiveness and because I was murdered so brutally, so now I cannot, find peace even after death. And I'm roaming here and there, and there is no peace for me in the grave. So I'm burning. I am having a terrible time even now after death. And so he commands Hamlet that what I want you to do is, you should take revenge from your uncle. And if you are my son, if you are my blood, if you really, loved your father, then definitely you have to do this for me, for the sake of your father, that you have to take revenge from Claudius. That is, you should. What is the revenge? Definitely you should kill him some way or the other because he killed me. So the revenge would be that you should kill Claudius again. And he says that not only that you should kill him, but you should, revenge my death, and do not harm your mother. This is the second thing that the ghost said, that okay, take revenge from Claudius, kill him, but don't harm your mother because I don't want her to be killed. I want her to be, treated by her conscience, means that to be, to suffer the reason that she married a person who was actually the murderer of her own husband. Now, even if she did it knowingly or unknowingly, but she should suffer because she has taken a very wrong decision. And when you take a wrong decision, that you need to suffer, you need to, face the consequences of your wrong decision. So the ghost tells him that okay, don't harm your mother, leave her. Let her fate be decided by heaven. Let her fate be decided by what happens next. Okay, so just leave her, don't harm her. Her fate will be decided when you leave her to the mercy of her consciousness. Whenever she will think that she had committed a mistake like this, she will herself, be guilty about it. Okay. Oh, and then the ghost just vanished. Okay, it just disappeared. Vanished means disappeared. Okay. Oh God, from this moment on, I swear I will think of nothing except the ghost's command to get revenge for his murder. Hamlet shouted to the night sky, but as Hamlet grew angrier and angrier, he could not stop thinking of his mother. Her marriage had hurt him so much, and now he had found out that she had married his father's murderer. How could he forgive her? So, what's happening? That basically, you know this is already a situation for him where he's crying out to the night. When you are very upset or when you're very sad, you shout yourself to get that anger or that grief out of yourself. So he just shouted out to the night that okay, I'll take revenge from this man, and I'll revenge my father's death, and I'll help him find peace in his grave. But when he was shouting and he was angry, all of a sudden he thought of his mother. And he was like, how could my mother do this? How could she marry a man who was a murderer? And already he was not happy with her, such a quick decision to get married again after 2 months, and again marrying now a person who was actually a murderer. He said that I cannot forgive my mother for this. Although my father wants me not to harm her, I'll not harm her, but I cannot forgive her for this kind of a terrible mistake or a blunder or a decision that she has taken. And he is very upset about it. When Horatio ran up to Hamlet, he found the prince was very excited. He seemed as if he was half mad. So he was shouting out, he was crying, he was yelling, he was in pain, he was in despair, he was so in sorrow, and the way he was reacting when Horatio came, Horatio was like pretty sure that Hamlet was turning mad. He was actually talking to himself, he was shouting, crying, and he found the prince in a very, very, very miserable state actually. Hamlet made his friend and the guard swear never to tell anyone what had happened that night. Then he warned Horatio that from now on he was going to pretend to be mad, and he had a good reason for it. But Hamlet didn't tell him the ghost's terrible secret. So now, when Horatio walks up to him, and Hamlet is like, okay, he's calmed down, then he tells the guard and Horatio never to tell anybody. He makes them promise that, you guys never have to tell anybody that I met the ghost like this. And then he tells Horatio that from now onwards he will act to be mad. That is, he will pretend that he's mad, but actually he's not mad. He has an idea, he has a plan in his mind that he's going to execute. And he does not want Horatio to tell anybody about his secret, that he will now be acting mad for some time. And definitely he will be trying to learn more details about the murderer. He will try to judge the people acting mad, because definitely if a person acts mad or if he pretends to be mad, then people don't actually worry about that person much, because they say, okay, this person is mad, he doesn't have any conscience, he doesn't understand nothing. So we can say more things in front of him, or we can do whatever we want, because this person is actually half mad. He doesn't, this is a common, actually it's a general belief what we do in our society, that if somebody is mad, then we ignore that person's, that okay, fine, let this person do whatever he's doing, and we don't actually put a very rigid or a very strict eye on that person's doings, or what he's up to, or what he's planning. So this is maybe the reason why Hamlet decided to act mad. But he did not tell Horatio about the ghost secret. That is, he did not tell Horatio that his father was actually murdered by Claudius, and that the ghost has now put this responsibility on Hamlet to take his death's revenge. Okay. So students, I'll stop reading here. We'll read further next time. If there's any question, any query with you people, anything that is still not understood, you guys can ask me. And otherwise, we can move to the questions. Okay. So far, is the play, is the story clear to you people? What is happening? Any questions, anybody? Please ask me right now. I'm giving you a minute. You can ask me any question regarding the story so far. Otherwise, I'll move to the questions. Okay, no questions. You people don't want to ask me anything. Shall I move forward? Okay. So the first question. Who is going to answer my first question? What were the king and queen doing when Hamlet left the castle to see the ghost? So who's going to tell me what were the king and queen doing? Okay. Bisma, can you tell me what were the king and queen doing when Hamlet left the castle to see the ghost? Yes, Bisma, can you tell me? Are you there? Yes, Bisma, are you there? Can you tell me? They were enjoying the feast. Exactly. I can. Okay, Abdul Rahman, what is your question? Sorry, I just missed it. Miss Hamlet tells that his father for killing. No, he does not tell his friend about the killing of his father. He only tells him that I will pretend to be mad, and I have a very good reason for doing this. But what is the reason? He does not tell this to Horatio. He only tells him that I will pretend, that is, I will act that I am mad, half mad, And you should not tell anybody that I have met the ghost. Okay, is it clear, Abdul Rahman? Okay, so what were they doing? They were enjoying a feast. Okay, but I did not get the answer from Bisma. Bisma, are you there? I've got the answers from the rest of the students, but Bisma, I did not get an answer from you, Bitte. Okay, they were enjoying a feast, exactly, and they were dancing and they were, having a laughter and all that, but they were not actually focusing on what was Hamlet doing. Okay, so Hafsa, can you answer the second question? Whose ghost was it? It's a very, very easy one. Hafsa, can you answer me? Whose ghost was it? Hafsa, are you there? Thank you, students, for the answer, but I want Hafsa to answer. Hafsa, you are not there. Okay, fine. Can I have Muhammad Zuhaib? Can you answer me? The third question. For the second question, we all know the answer. Whose ghost was it? It was the dead King Hamlet's ghost. Okay, it was the dead King's Hamlet. If such kind of a question is ever asked to you, don't write only King, because now the King is Claudius. So you should know which what you're writing. It was King Hamlet's ghost. Okay. So, the third question, Muhammad Zuhaib, can you answer me the third question? What did the ghost signal Hamlet? Can you tell me? Yes, Muhammad Zuhaib, are you there? What did the ghost signal Hamlet? No, Abdul Rahman, he didn't signal his Hamlet to do this. What did he first signal Hamlet to do? Did he start talking in front of Horatio and the guard, or what did he signal him? What did he tell him to do for the first place? What was the first signal that he gave? Mohammad Zuhaib, you are not there. Okay, fine. So can I have the answer from Roha Irshad? Can you answer me, Roha? Roha Irshad, can you answer me? What did the ghost signal Hamlet? Okay, Roha. Yes, miss. Can you answer me, please? What did the ghost signal Hamlet? Hurry up, beta. Okay, fine. You have a problem. It's okay. So, what did the ghost signal Hamlet? The ghost signaled Hamlet to follow him. Okay, to follow it to a quiet, a lonely place where he could talk to Hamlet. Okay. Okay. So the fourth question. Can I have Iman Suhail? Iman Suhail, can you answer me the fourth question, please? Iman Suhail, if you are there, can you answer me the fourth question? What did the ghost tell Hamlet? Now make sure you know the difference between what did it tell Hamlet and what did it command or ask him to do. First of all, I'm asking you only what did the ghost tell Hamlet? What was the secret that the ghost told Hamlet? Can you tell me, Iman Suhail, are you there? What did the ghost tell Hamlet? Okay, so the ghost told Hamlet that he was murdered by his own brother Claudius. Okay, the ghost told Hamlet that he has been cruelly murdered, and it was not a snake that bit him, but actually he was killed by the snake who's ruling the kingdom, and that is Claudius. And how did he murder him? He poured poison in his in the king's ears while the king was sleeping in the garden one day. Okay, so the fifth question. Okay, can I have? Let's see, who should I ask now? Can I have Romesa? Romesa, can you answer me? Who was the king's murderer? I just told you it's a very easy one. Who was the king's murderer? The king's murderer was Claudius. Okay, it's very simple. The king's murderer was Claudius. Okay, the second last question. What did the ghost ask Hamlet to do? Romesa, can you answer this one? What did the ghost ask Hamlet to do? I'm waiting for an answer, Rumesa. What did the ghost ask Hamlet to do? Thank you for your answers, Fatma, Sania, and Abdul Rahman. I appreciated that you guys always answer me. Thank you very much. What did the ghost ask Hamlet to do? Okay, Romesa, it asked it to take revenge, okay? Right. So the ghost asked Hamlet to take revenge. He asked him to do two things, okay? The first thing was he asked Hamlet to take revenge of his death from his father, from his uncle Claudius. And the second thing was that he told Hamlet not to harm his mother, okay? And leave her punishment to God, or leave her punishment by her consciousness, okay? So these are the two things that the ghost asked Hamlet to do. And what is the answer of the last question? What was the first step Hamlet took after meeting the ghost? Manahil Nadeem, are you there? Can you answer me, Manahil? Or Zimal, if you are there, can you answer me this question, Zimal? Zimal or Manahil? I want either one of you to answer me the last question. What was the first step Hamlet took after meeting the ghost? Yes, exactly, Abdul Rahman. You are right. Thank you for the answer. Zimal, are you there? Zimal and Manahil. Nadeem, are you there? No, 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 no. He asked that Fatima Abdul Rahman. It's not going to be. He asked. No, this was not what he asked. Hamlet. I'm asking what was the first step that Hamlet took after meeting the ghost. That is when the ghost has vanished. What did Hamlet, do then? He told Horatio that I will pretend to be half mad, and I have a very good reason for doing this. Okay. So I hope the lesson is so far clear to every all of you. Any questions, any queries, please let me know in the Google comment section. And one important thing that I want to tell you people is that today I will be uploading the assignment of English literature, that is the words meanings of this chapter, and tomorrow you have to submit your copies. Tomorrow is the submission day because today your monthly tests have ended. So make sure that you attempt the word meanings and you turn in your copies tomorrow, okay? So kindly make sure again, if you have friends who are not taking the class but doing the assignments, tell them also that I will be uploading an assignment today. We were not uploading any assignments for the last 2 weeks, but today we'll be uploading an assignment, and I want you people